All right, Hell's Paradise is back. Episodes 9, 10, 11. We're gonna briefly touch on 9 and 10, but 11's kind of like the showstopper. 9 was a little bit all right. It was good. I mean, nothing crazy, just a fight. But we're gonna go ahead and get into that. Daniel, your word of the day.
Yeah. Before we get started, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Everything really helps, and we just really like reading your guys' comments. We want your insight on how you guys like Hell's Paradise so far. We're really enjoying it, so let's get started.
All right, go ahead and take over. Go ahead and take off. Is what I meant to say.
Okay, so episode 9. Not a lot happened, Gabby Maru kind of ran away to go kind of research on his own, and he starts fighting a Tenzin. We realize that Tenzins have kind of like a bigger power, once they're like on their last foot. And then May kind of comes out of nowhere and saves Gabby Maru and uses a special ability that we haven't seen yet. So uh, that's pretty much all that happens in 9. And then I'll let you take over for 10.
10, you learn about Tao, and then towards the end of it, Chobi is crawling out with Toma on his back, which is stupid because Toma should be able to walk. Should, because he was able to fight all of these, the Doshu or whatever. No, those are the three. Whatever. He's able to fight all those monsters, but he couldn't crawl out of a pit. But my main
I think
takeaway.
there's a reason to that though, because the
Go ahead.
character did say that like one of those three like right hand
I think
mans,
those are
like
the Doshu. The Do.
the
Yeah.
Doshin or whatever. Yeah,
Uh huh.
yeah, I think it's Doshin. But either way, they said like the pit tries to hold you in, and I don't think
Yeah, you're not
Toma was
wrong.
strong enough to like be able to get out himself.
It
That makes
just
like
one
because
shot
I'm
out,
pretty
you're
sure.
free and popping.
Yeah, yeah, because it was grabbing on to Chobi as he was climbing
Mm-hmm.
and everything. So I think because of that, I just think his physical strength itself was not going to be enough to get him out. So he
Mm-hmm.
had to ride on Chobi's back and be able to pull himself. Well, I guess he didn't really pull himself out, but be able to get out of
I would say, I hear what you're saying. I think it's, I agree, but I think it's his willpower because once he's out, he's definitely strong enough to squabble with these monsters. All of them. He handled all of them while Chobi was getting his ass kicked by, uh, I can't remember. I think he said his name, but the Doshu.
Yeah.
But yeah, then that's how 11, well, 10 ends with Chobi getting chopped in the neck, and then you start at 11 with all that going on. It re-shows that, and then it's kind of like his awakening to Tao, which is, I liked how it's shown in the anime and how Tao is perceived, and how when Chobi saw it, he got a Sharingan eye, is what I'm gonna call it. But for Gabby Maru, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I will say, before anyone tries to say that Chobi's strong because he learned it first, no, it's taking place at the same time. They just showed Chobi first.
What I really like in episode 11 is how they're explaining the towel, because we're getting kind of three different explanations for it. We're getting the blind dude explaining it to that one little chick,
Mm-hmm.
and he's kind of explaining it in his own way. He doesn't know what it is, but he can see like the waves and the life forms.
Yeah.
And then we have May's explanation of strong, weak,
No, strong,
and
strong.
then
No, weak, strong. Yes.
yeah, and then we have the tree explaining it in the correct form because he actually knows what it is. I just like the little like changes between who was explaining it and how it was being explained.
I don't know. The best way it was explained is just that touch. Told him all he know. He was like, "All right, got you. I'm good."
Well, that's kind of like their thing, though. Who explained it? Was it Fuji, or it might have been the
Fuji was
other
able to
dude?
decipher what May was saying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, no, 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 no. They were. It was like um, Gabby Maru's particular like type of shinobi that he is. They
Oh, the
because he already
Iwagakure.
knows like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just because he
Oh, I
already
know
knows like
why.
the
I just
ninjutsu
thought
and
it was
stuff.
funny. Uh huh.
Well, like the ninjutsu stuff, he says because they already knew like that. That's kind of like a form of talent,
Yeah.
and so it would be easier for him to understand on how like Tao basically work.
Hmm.
And so they're like, "Oh, you're gonna need to learn day and night." No, I got it. Now I can go handle it. I'm just gonna go walk into the fire room.
Just give him a
He
quick
was
little
like,
handshake. He's fine.
Yeah.
he was just like, yeah, I got it. I figured it out. We're good.
I got the gist of it.
I
But yeah,
like.
good.
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
I
you're
didn't
good.
mean-
You're good.
I liked and Chobi's fight in particular how it was just smash all. Like I'm just gonna smash you until a Tenzin pops up, and like I feel like the two groups are just going about it in two completely like different ways. Like you have Fujin and all of them. He's kind of like the scientist that like dissects stuff. And then I feel like the group that Gabby Maru was originally with, like Yuri, they're kind of like the observers and the watchers. And I feel like Chobi is just kind of, I just go out there and get it done, bully his way through the path of what he needs to do. So I think it's pretty cool how they all have like their own three different styles of how they're approaching. I think that's a pretty interesting fact.
So with Chobi, his thing is he's like hyper adaptable to his situations no matter what. Hence why he was able to learn how to use Tao so quickly. Um, and so, and also another fact of the matter is he's also Chobi is basically invincible since he was eating the flesh and drinking the blood of the Shinso monsters that were there, which is kind of figured out. He gets these like 5 things around his body basically once he starts going at it against that caretaker. I'm not gonna lie, I had technical difficulties on my part, so I missed a lot of what was said.
Oh, you're good.
So, but yeah, and then like with Gabimaru, from the fight to from the main fight with the Tenzin to the small fight with the caretakers, there was a lot of growth shown too, and he also May was just because she was following him because he left the house to go explore, and he got himself in a sticky situation, and she like put this fear around him, saved his ass, um, and I don't know if we talked about it, but because of my technical difficulties, May we find out that May is also part of the Tenzin as well, but she just doesn't have the what is it?
She's the yin. I think she's the yin side.
She's completely yin, no yang.
Yeah.
She still has the abilities.
So she has no wang. You put them together.
So I have one thing to say about Chobi, how you said he's kind of invincible because he's been eating the meat. I don't think that's why he got his Tao. And I think the reason he learned how to use his Tao much quicker was because he was kind of touched by it, by the vines. And I think when he was in the pit, the vines touching him, that's why he has the vines growing around him. That's kind of like similar.
Yeah.
He's touched by the Tao, by the vines inside the pit.
His DNA kind of mixing with it at that point
Yeah.
was I thought that's what I thought was kind of hinted at, but also the drinking blood, I could see that also kind of enhancing
Yeah,
it.
but he wasn't drinking the blood of the people turning into Tao. He was just drinking random monsters' blood.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
random monsters. That's the only reason I don't think that's why he's getting like stronger or his abilities. I think he was being turned into Tao, but then he escaped before he was like his body was consumed, but he still got like the Tao abilities.
It does
Mhm.
have something to do with him being able to regenerate. The vines,
Oh yeah,
that is
yeah,
from
Well,
eating the
that's-
blood.
Can regenerate.
Daniel's just saying how he got it, not the fact that he used it.
So he was in the process of being turned into Tan, which is the elixir of life, and ended up being touched by the supernatural key power. How in the process from the vines is what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't think it's the eating the flesh or drinking the blood because he's not drinking tan. He's just drinking random monsters' blood.
It might have helped a little bit because how did them monsters come about?
Well, yeah, but
And they're highly durable too. So
it could be, but I just feel like a lot of other people on the island would probably be eating meat as well, especially if the monsters look like fish. I understand that people would probably eat that, and I don't see anyone else getting powers. So
yeah, that's understandable.
Well, on the eating aspect, nobody's really had to do that yet. everybody has been able to find somewhere where they have some sort of food. And the first night they were out, they did stay out overnight. Gaimaru, they hadn't came across the monsters yet, and just like
Well, I'm
be
saying
on
like
show a little bit
all
from
the
Tito's side
prisoners,
as well.
not just Gabby Maru's
Well,
group.
all of them are dead.
Like the giant of
Everybody.
reason before he died, he probably was eating
Well,
everything,
I'm guessing food. Oh, the giant. Yeah,
and
I
he
thought you were
didn't get
talking
no
about.
top bars.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
almost
he could have
everybody
died
first three.
quick enough before like their response, because I feel like the Tenzin kind of like their meeting was kind of like, well, they've been here for a couple days. We gotta kind of, we've already been like scouting them.
So we just don't
So
know
now we kinda have to
who all came
respond.
across the giant monsters. So
Yeah, pretty
I get
much.
what you're saying, Daniel, but that's my thing is I don't even know if he came across them. Obviously, we didn't follow him
Well,
for enough time.
It doesn't matter if he did or not. I'm just saying it makes more sense to me that he's getting his Tao powers from the pit that's making Tan. Like he was
Yeah.
touched by it,
Oh yeah, yeah.
rather than like eating
No,
some random monsters.
No, I get no. I think Tito would say I don't know. I heard it as well, at least my concept
Well,
of
he
it
was
is
saying like
his
he's getting
regenerated.
stronger because
Like the vines isn't shown anybody else who has regenerated outside of the people who like have like the plant like abilities, but the Tao itself, because you don't have to like be a plant like the Shion. He uses Tao and he's not plant like or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the plant aspect with the like the vines of his regenerating his neck and then the other parts
That's
where
what
he
I'm
was
saying.
hurt. I think that came from him eating it, not
Also, I just
You think the vines came from him
Thought of
eating
it.
the meat and not being touched by the vines in the pit?
no, it's it's the
No, I
vines
think
come
the
from
Tao
the vine.
the
itself.
Tao his like Tao was touched by the vines, and that is how like he activates it. But when you activate Tao, you don't just have like Shion when he got hurt when his throat got sliced or whatever against the Tenzin, he didn't have any vine regeneration. We haven't seen any vines on him. The only one we've seen him on is
He can talk now.
Chobi. Huh?
He can talk now.
Well, yeah, the regenerative
How
like
do we
Tao
know How do we know he's not
Tao
regenerating?
can regenerate. Well, like you said, Tao can regenerate. It's just the aspect of regenerating with like the plant.
and
like the
and that's
plant
why I
regeneration
was thinking like
is what I saw it
Chobi is because with Chobi it could also be a mixture of him eating the flesh and then almost being turned into Tan. So
He's
could
just
be.
showing one that's shown a plant like
yeah,
plant
He's
part
See,
since.
what I think happened was he was in the middle of process of being turned into Tan. He cut that off and climbed out of the pit, and then like so when he breaks bones or like gets any kind of cuts, he's like I'm gonna say half Tenzin at that point because he does regenerate, but it stays as like a plant like design in that space.
That could
and
be
with
it too.
the Tenzin who are full blown Tenzin, it fully regenerates back into the normal state. But being he's not Tenzin and he was kind of like in that mixed pot in between, it doesn't like it will regenerate, but it won't look the same as what it was before. Because the vines are kind of what is the tan is what's recovering him, but he doesn't have like that Tenzin ability to go back and forth and move body parts and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Or turn into a giant flower creature thing.
Yeah, now I get what you're
And
saying.
then we see the caretakers have that same ability to turn into like a giant monster. They called it a false version of it, I guess, because the centipede guy that Maru was facing turned into like this giant monster made of centipedes. So that was kind of neat.
The only thing that I wish would have been different about that scene, as soon as they brought up the yin and the yang fact and whatever jutsu they were talking about, I
Motion.
think there should have been no more talking. And I think Gabby Maru should have went to straight slaying heads. And there should have been no more explaining. Like, I will say, I did think it was kind of cool.
Well, he wouldn't have won because he didn't learn how to use his talent until after that.
Yeah,
It
that's true, but
It took a wall of aesthetic blaze.
that whole thing was like, all right, just smash these dudes down real quick because that is just weird.
Yeah, that whole
What
part
I thought
was
was
weird.
pretty cool about that too is because all it took to stop them from coming after him and them and the others was a wall of aesthetic blaze. It's just a big old giant wall of fire.
They're bugs. They can't handle
I
it.
will say,
Handle
when
the
they
heat.
pop up that fire, I think they do animate that pretty well to show it as like especially like cool kind of fire.
I
think
do.
they do a
I like
pretty
how
good job.
the fight ended, where it wasn't like some big grandiose animation. It kind of was just one getting sliced in half and the other being turned into fire. just because I think it shows like the level of character those two are now compared to Gabimaru, who said he's on the Tensen's level, which I'm gonna
I
believe
thought it
because he
was
fought one and forced it to use its most powerful
yeah.
form, and it was on the brink of death when we see it in the meeting. So
The other Tenzin
he
were
didn't even
pissed
have
at
to.
it, right? For
Yeah,
popping
because
that
he got
throw.
bopped.
He ran back to Horai looking like a freaking.
He looked
They
like
walked in, they're like,
the
what the
choc
hell happened to
the
you?
old lady, the grandma on the chocolate episode from SpongeBob.
Yeah, all shriveled up.
That's right. He got
Well,
annihilated, and Gabimaru didn't know how to use Tao. So
I
By,
like the whole part at the end of like he was like jumped over. What's the dude's name again? The swordsmith guy.
to me,
Tamiya. I liked how he just like bopped his head, so he just like forward into the sword slice, and then he just went to pretty much the Mothman and set him ablaze. I just thought it was pretty cool because he was all complaining like you're gonna take all the glory and stuff, and in the end he still gave him like the little like.
Tomia
I
wanted
thought
the
that was a
centipede.
cool little feature they had.
Tomia wanted the centipede, dude. I want the centipede guy.
no, he wasn't the butterfly guy
thought he
Yeah,
said he
because the
wanted
butter. No, the butterfly
guy,
stung
'cause
him.
that's the guy who
because that's
took
what
his
got
hand.
him,
He's like revenge for my lost hand.
and then he didn't get to kill him. So
Yeah, he still got somebody though.
yeah, that's all I have to say about it. You guys, any last words on it?
I feel like we're kind of underselling these 3 episodes a little bit. I feel like they were some pretty banger of episodes.
We didn't
Honestly.
even
At least
rank
the
'em.
first. At least the first one.
There,
Well, we just
It
kinda
This-
was
like-
good. It was
if
just
you-
a lot of like.
if you rank them in like
search and
groups of
rescue kind of
3,
thing.
I think this group of 3 was better than the other groups of 3.
I think this is the best 3 right here so far. Yeah. I think
Like
these
for
are
consecutive
3
episodes, these are
banger
some of the
episodes.
best back to back to back.
They're the most
Absolutely.
informative too. 100% most
Yeah.
informative.
You
I would.
the
we learn a
describing the
lot.
island, the episode where they described the island was
Also,
because they do a
learning
lot.
about
learn a
the
lot more.
ability that gets you on the level of Tenzin is more important than learning about the island.
No, because he wouldn't even have been where he was without that. May
I
wouldn't
think
even
he
have
would've
showed
learned
that
I think
power.
he would have found it. I think eventually he would have found it.
No,
But if he
honestly
doesn't know
not.
how to use Tao, he's never going to beat a Tenzin.
Well, I'm not saying it's like just not important at all, but I think that episode there was because they spent a lot
Well,
more
I'm saying
time
it's
doing
important
the
too. I'm just saying this is
the
more important.
information dump.
Also, I was gonna say about the Tao. I liked how both the fights they were talking about how Chobi and Gabimaru's Tao just kept growing and growing and growing. I thought that was a cool feature, and especially with Chobi. Me being kind of just like a Marvel fan too. When they showed his spot at like one time, it looked like Carnage, which is a Marvel symbiote because it just had like a bunch of like worms coming off of it and everything. And he is just all mayhem. And so I thought it just fit with Chobi's character because he's like mayhem and just will just slice through anything and just absolutely just disintegrate people. So I thought that was kind of like a cool. It's definitely not like calling to that, but I saw it and I was like, oh, that could be something that's like a cool little nod if that was
Also-
the case. But
Also, another thing, I wouldn't say Chobi's eye is a Sharingan. I'd say it's more of a Byakugan than anything because he literally reads the Tao.
No, I only said that because it
Person.
turned red. I wasn't talking about the what it was using. I was just saying it because it turned red.
oh,
But
the
I do
dude-
get
I
what you're
love when they
saying,
show his vision. The blind dude's vision, I love when they show it. I think that stuff's so cool. Like just when he's in a fight, he's like zoning in. It's like I just have to like see wave and the whole explanation of like the waves and stuff about like he's like, oh, I know your hair's like ponytail or whatever, and what you're dressed in and stuff, just because of like the waves that are coming off of you. I thought that whole scene was pretty
The
cool. that
ultimate
explanation
vibe
behind it.
checker.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you just, I can feel your vibe.
So
Yeah, I'd
uh,
say I'm pretty sure it's only 12. No, it's 13. I could be wrong. It's 12 or 13. So we either get one more or 2 more episodes, and then season's over.
yeah, I think it's
I
I
could
think it's gonna be
see
13.
one
I can
more.
see 13.
I think it's
I can see 2.
well. I looked it up. I just don't remember what it said. I think it was 13, and then I'm guessing this series is only going to be 2 seasons long. They covered a lot of ground in just this,
Yeah.
and as in any anime of shonen genre, we're getting,
It's
we're
a
getting the
lot.
fights.
Yeah,
So-
Are we
lot-
past
a
where
lot
you
has
read
been
to,
done.
T-Done?
Yeah,
Okay.
Tito's
Way
last
past
stuff
it.
was like where they explained the island.
Yeah, it was like
Okay.
episode 5 or 6 was where I was cut off.
I think it's where Daniel cut off at.
No,
Like,
Daniel got a
it's
little
like the
deeper.
next episode, I think, is where Daniel cut off at. I'm assuming what's gonna be in the next episode.
I saw the whole
a
fight.
lot was
What fight?
taken out, but it explains.
You know what
everything.
fight? If there is a fight,
What fight? What?
there is
what
a
fight?
fight. There
No,
is a
that's a
fight.
genuine question. What fight?
And it's
I
early
can't-
on next
it's
season.
spoilers, so I can't.
Yeah,
say
it-
it.
Yuzu fight.
Slime time?
Not slime time. Slime time.
We saw it in the
Yeah, that's what I said.
trailer.
Is it in? It's
You
the
are-
next fight coming up.
You're.
That's
Didn't-
hinted
yes.
at the one that was shown at the end of the episode. Why?
It's
Just say
it's
they
probably gonna
opened
be
the gate at the end of the episode. That's what I was saying. Yuzu, Sagiri, and Senta when they first get into
I
Harora.
think that's the fight.
Okay, that's slime time then.
Just
No, I think it's the next one after Slime Time
No, because after that, I've heard-
with Blind Dude.
oh, you okay? Yeah. Okay, so you saw that fight. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't
saw
know.
that
I didn't know you
fight.
read that far. But yeah, we probably won't see that until 2 years
No,
from now.
That's
So,
season 2.
slime time's cool.
that's
though.
2025.
I agree, T. Slime Time is it's enjoyable.
Oh, hey. you
On
know
that
what?
note.
After this,
We
we
did-
can
we got-
get back. We can get back into Demon Slayer too, because Swordsmith Village arc just ended.
We already covered it though. I feel like if
I
we
know.
cover that, well, we'll talk about that after this video. Go ahead and wrap it up. If you guys have anything to say on, not, we'll go to Gafford.
Would watch again.
I would just, if you haven't watched it and somehow ended up on our video, made it this far, I would suggest going and watching it yourself and not listening to us explain it and being all over the place. Go watch it. It's a really good show. Highly recommend it. 10 out of 10 so far.
Best anime releasing episodes right now.
Tonight.
Maybe no. Vinland Saga is still releasing episodes.
Demon
I thought-
Slayer just finished.
Demons, excuse
Yeah,
me.
I know what
Slayer-
I said. What I said. I
Demon
said what I
Slayer's-
said.
But the finale of the
That
Swordsmith
is-
Village arc was
No,
51
I
minutes long.
completely
It's
hate
not even
Demon.
a hot take,
I
it's
just
an
hate
outrageous
Demon
take.
Slayer. No, Demon Slayer is definitely the best. Second best because I like Vince a lot more. But see y'all later. Peace.